So this interview right here that you're about to see went mega viral. Jon Stewart is talking to Oklahoma State Senator Nathan Dahm. He's a Republican. And the discussion here is about gun reform. But it's been a long time since I've seen somebody get in such an intense logic chokehold that Jon Stewart does to this man here. So let's watch and we'll break it down as we go.
I'm a strong proponent of the Second Amendment. I believe the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the one right that's listed in the Constitution that uses that very specific affirmative language, shall not be infringed.
It's also the one right that uses the phrase well-regulated.
Correct, when it's talking about the militia and the state.
By the way, just for clarity's sake, I'm not against the Second Amendment. I don't want to ban guns. But you're saying more guns makes us more safe.
Yes.
So when we got 400 million guns in the country, we had an increase and gun deaths went up. So when exactly does this curve hit that takes it down? Would 1 billion guns do it?
Let's just run those numbers, 400 million, 50,000. You're talking about less than a fraction of not even a percent, of 1/100 of a percent.
But it goes up, not down. So your argument is backwards.
But if you want, so let's come up with a solution. Okay, so one of the issues, a contributing factor, again, I believe it's the individual that is the problem.
So your solution to that is give them more guns.
This is not going well for this guy. Look, he painted himself in a corner because it's one thing to argue. Look, it's just a matter of principle that I support guns. It's just a matter of principle. It's a right. A right by definition is not, something that can be taken away. And I like guns. I have them for my own self-defense or whatever. So as a matter of principle, regardless of the consequences of having a country with a lot of guns, I believe we should be a country with a lot of guns. That's an argument you can make. And, people look at that and they might say that's callous, that's mean or whatever, but you could say, hey, it is what it is. There's, tens of thousands of people who die in car accidents every single year and we don't want to ban cars. So, the freedom to have cars we view as more important than, the deaths that come about as a result of the cars. And somebody can make a similar argument for guns. Yeah, I know the death rate is high. There are a lot of people who die from guns. That's a price I'm willing to pay for the freedom to have a gun. That would be an argument. You can agree or disagree with it, but it's an honest argument. But where they just fall flat and where they are empirically, verifiably wrong is where they say more guns equals more peace. That's just demonstrably untrue. We've crunched the numbers. We know the reality. We have more guns than any other developed country, and we have more gun deaths than any other developed country. If they were right, the fact that we had more guns would mean we have fewer deaths than every other developed country. And we don't. It's the exact opposite. So, again, you can make the argument as a matter of principle, I like guns, we should have guns. You cannot make the argument that more guns equals more peace, because that is just wrong. It's just wrong. And here's Jon Stewart. He's got this guy in a logic chokehold, and he has no way out, and so he's making a fool of himself.
So I'm saying that because people are the problem, we need to look at the problems that those people are facing and how do we address it.
But you've removed the ability for the state to do that.
No, because you're...
If you don't have background checks and you don't have registration and permitting, how do you know who has a problem in terms of the people who you're giving a gun to?
Do you want to talk about the background checks first, or do you want to talk about solutions first?
I want to talk about what you're doing is you're bringing chaos to order.
That's your subjective opinion, that it's bringing chaos to order.
It's not my subjective opinion. We have 50,000 gun-related deaths. That's not a subjective opinion.
Okay, so
that's dead people. Let me back up for a second. In every other place in your life, you want to bring order, but guns are the outlier for you. So let's start with immigration. You want registration, maybe a wall, maybe not a wall. Why do you want that?
Well, one of the reasons is because the fentanyl crisis.
Right.
I mean, okay, but
you don't know when it's coming across. So what do you do?
The fentanyl crisis is twice what the gun death crisis is.
Okay, so until the gun crisis gets to the fentanyl level,
not until
you don't want to bring order.
No, not until it. But
do you see my point?
If we're going to talk about protecting lives,
no, he doesn't see your point, because he's just a talking point machine. He's a slogan and platitude machine. His ideology is as deep as a bumper sticker on the back of a Silverado. And so you can use logic and poke holes in his argument all day, and his what?
That's a larger issue in America than guns is. If we're talking about individual lives of ways that they can be protected, loss of life in America, there's loss of life through fentanyl. There's loss of life through obesity. The obesity crisis in America costs 6 times the number of lives as guns.
Right, and so, you're the guy saying, you know what would help this? Ice cream.
No. So you know what would help the problem that we're facing with firearms?
What?
The fatherlessness crisis that we have in America. If you look at the statistics.
Right. Yeah, they're dying from gun deaths.
80% of school shooters either came from a broken or fatherless home.
So you would say no guns for fatherless homes?
No, that's not what I would say. I would say that fathers need to be more engaged.
Great. So let's
with a firearm if they don't have a father in the home.
Let's put more resources into areas that are poverty-stricken. All for it.
And into fatherlessness, and that's something that we're doing.
But why, with guns, are you against bringing order?
I'm not against bringing order.
You are. You're also making it less safe for cops and for people. When the police go to a domestic call, it's the most dangerous call they can go on. In your world, if they knew that there were firearms in the house, that's a safer call. Is that what you're saying?
No, because police...
Because why?
Because police treat every situation as a potential...
But more guns makes us safer. So why don't, when the police go to a house filled with guns, why don't they breathe a sigh of relief knowing that this Second Amendment that shall not be infringed is being exercised so fruitfully in this home?
Are you familiar with the 39-year-old woman in New Jersey?
I'm familiar with a ton of anecdotes. I'm asking you a simple question.
This is not an anecdote,
When
John.
the police
this actually
go to a house...
She had a restraining order on her ex-boyfriend.
I can run through hundreds and hundreds of examples of women killed by their domestic partners by guns that were not taken away through the lessening of red flag laws.
By the way, that's what this guy, I think he proposed to, like, basically get rid of red flag laws, effectively. Red flag laws, for those of you who don't know, is like if somebody's acting very erratically and they're having some sort of a crisis and they have guns, it becomes legal to take their guns away from them, at least temporarily. Because it's like, hey, like somebody's going around saying, I'm going to do a mass shooting. You're then legally allowed to go take the guns, and that's okay. Whereas in the past, that wasn't the case. This guy tried to get rid of the red flag laws.
Pivoting to anecdotes.
No, this is not anecdotes.
What the police say. If we had gun registration, if we were able to track purchases, they have a technology that every bullet would be stamped with an individual like a fingerprint. If we had an ATF that wasn't defunded, we would be able to enforce gun laws more effectively, and we would be able to solve gun crimes more effectively. You're against all of that.
Because the person is the threat, not the firearm, not the knife.
I get it.
The person, the individual is the one that is the concern here.
But you don't want anything that could help law enforcement or society determine whether or not a person is a good guy with a gun or a bad guy with a gun.
The
registry would allow you to have much more effective background checks. So I don't understand why you won't just admit that you are making it harder for police to manage the streets by allowing all of these guns to go out without permits, without checks, and without background stuff. Why is that hard? Why can't you just stand by that?
Because that's not what I'm doing. I'm defending the individual's right to keep and bear arms.
That's a different argument.
Okay,
but here's what I'm saying. You want to say I'm a Second Amendment purist and I'm making it safer. You're not. You're making it more chaotic. And that's not a matter of opinion. That's the truth.
That is a matter of opinion, John.
But why take away their tools?
Because certain of their tools that they're using would be infringements upon the people's right to keep and bear arms, upon their constitutional rights, upon due process, upon other things.
That registering is an infringement?
Yes.
Okay. Is voting a right?
It's a right for citizens, yes.
Do you have to do anything to do it?
Yes.
What do you have to do?
It depends on the state.
What do you have to do?
Sometimes you have to be at least 18 years old.
What do you have to do?
And in some places you have to have a government-issued ID.
What do you have to? You have to
be on the voter rolls?
Register.
This guy is so bad at this, man. Holy cow. Jon Stewart is at 100% control of this conversation from the very first second.
You have to register. So you have to register to a right. Is that an infringement?
Does the right to voting say shall not be infringed?
Oh, so this is just a semantic argument now.
No, it's not.
You believe voting rights can be infringed because it doesn't say specifically shall not be infringed.
Is it an infringement upon a 17-year-old's right to vote, since they don't have that right to vote?
No.
Oh, it's not an infringement on them?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because you're the one making the argument, not me. I'm saying even rights have responsibilities, and that within those responsibilities and order. Otherwise, it's chaotic. I'll go you one further. You want to ban drag show readings to children.
To minors, yes.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you banning that? Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
They can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect...
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to protect children.
What's the leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is.
Oh my God. I've never seen an intellectual dressing down more than this. This is embarrassing for this guy, man. Holy cow. Oh. Look, I've seen this contrarian take online of like, this doesn't even matter because burning somebody over hypocrisy never works anyway. And it's like, dude, just get offline just get offline. Go touch grass, please, for the love of God. The point is, a segment like this, to anybody watching it, they're going to walk away going, that guy is ridiculous and Jon Stewart is on point. And if you make this guy ridiculous, you make his ideology ridiculous, and you take people who maybe wouldn't otherwise agree and you make them agree with you. That's the point. So you're creating more net positive beliefs in this world and not negative. So, I mean, that's the idea. Yeah, did Jon Stewart usher in the revolution by taking this guy down? No, of course not. But that wasn't the point in the first place. It's weird that I'm the edgy cool kid and I'm against any sort of engagement or dialogue. Like, that take is just so dumb. It's just so dumb. Like, go get a hobby, dog. Jesus Christ. It's just contrarianism for contrarianism's sake. Like, oh, the guy who was correct destroyed in this debate? Well, what if I told you I don't care? And nobody does. Oh, wow, you're so edgy and smart, bro. You're so edgy.
It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that, because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
Wow. By the way, for his show upcoming, Crystal told me there's going to be a segment with Larry Summers, the worst of the worst neoliberal economists, who's at least partly responsible for the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession, and he's just wrong about everything economically. So Stewart's going to interview/debate him, and there's also one where he talked about the military-industrial complex, where he interviews Petraeus. I honestly have no idea why Larry Summers or David Petraeus would agree to talk to Jon Stewart. This guy is going to obliterate you. How did he somehow get a pass into these circles where, they're going to regret it instantly? In all these episodes, he just destroys people. So anyway, man, that was satisfying to watch. And my takeaway from this is, I saw some people say, oh, he's lost a step, but this was good or whatever. Not only did he not lose a step, son, he gained a step. I've never seen him more sharp than this. This is wild. This is right on par with when he took down Jim Cramer for his repeated lying and terrible calls on the market. So, wow. That was quite a thing to watch. By the way, this guy is coping so hard right now. He was on Twitter the other day saying, I hope Jon releases the entire interview with its full context. Bro, you could add 17 more hours of context, and it's not going to change the fact that you got draxed. I mean, you are laying bloody on the ground. You don't know where you are right now. You're seeing stars, homie. What are you talking about? Please release the full context. There's no saving you. There's no saving you here. Anybody with eyes and ears can tell. So anyway, there you have it. Massive Jon Stewart W. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.